welcome to the family, son.
Imagine, if you will, visions and dreams. Fiction is written and coming true. Fiction collapses and remains just words on a page. These are those stories in Night Springs. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the first piece of DLC for Alan Wake 2. A series of Alan Wake's attempts to escape the dark place via writing scripts for the in-game Twilight Zone-inspired TV show, Night Springs. Please like, subscribe and leave me a comment. Now let's get into the bizarre tales of Night Springs. To begin with, we're greeted with an introduction by Warlindor. He discusses the nature of fanaticism and the etymology of the word fan itself, before it cuts to this episode's title card, Number 1 Fan. The episode starts with our protagonist looking into the mirror. She's only ever referred to as the waitress, but she bears an uncanny resemblance to Rose Marrigold from the base game. She's in the bathroom of Knight's diner, and as she's fixing herself up in said mirror, she's monologuing about how a writer is her destiny. We get a glimpse of him in the reflection of the mirror. Unsurprisingly, he's the spitting image of Alan Wake. This is the writer, her obsession. Once she's finished fixing herself up in the mirror, she gets back to work and it becomes very clear that this isn't the Rose from Bright Falls. Rather than being a meek and insecure character, she's very confident, very popular, and constantly showered with praise. She serves up her famous coffee to the diner's patrons, offers advice to people, and discusses her award-winning writer's blog. And once she's finished serving up coffee and advice, she heads to the storeroom to get one of the writer's books for a customer, where out of the blue she gets a distressed message from the writer, communicating to her through a big mouth Billy Bass. So, without wasting a single moment, she heads to the kitchen/armory and arms herself, before setting off on the quest to save the writer she is so hopelessly devoted to. And as she makes her way to the writer's mansion, she's cheered on by crowds of supporters that line the streets of Night Springs. As she makes her way through the town's boatyard, she comes face to face with the writer's doppelganger, the bad boy. He explains that he's the writer's twin brother and that he hates him, and that he has him locked away where she'll never find him. He tells her that he's got an army of the writer's critics, haters, and they're going to get rid of the writer, before speeding away through a fence on his motorbike, leaving Rose and her trusty shotgun to take down a crowd of attacking haters. And after joyfully dealing out some pump-action justice to the writer's critics, the waitress follows the blazing trail of the bad boy's motorbike, leading her through the woods on the town's outskirts, where she once again must silence more of the haters, before she stumbles across another one of the writer's books, this time with an urgent message from the writer inserted into the body of the text. After reading this frantic cry for help, she pushes forward and finds the bad boy's cabin on the shores of the lake. The writer's voice beckons her upstairs, only to prove to be a cunning ruse by the bad boy. A recording. The writer's not in the cabin at all. Upon further investigation, she finds evidence of the bad boy's torturous plans towards his brother, and as she leaves the cabin, she's once again confronted by the bad boy on the shores of the lake. The waitress gives him a piece of her mind, and after receiving these scathing words, he admits that he never had the writer locked away. He was just trying to slow the waitress down while his army of haters made their assault on the writer's mansion. And after this revelation's made, he once again speeds off on his motorbike. Knowing there's no time to waste, the waitress rushes back through the woods towards the writer's mansion. On her way back along the flaming path left in the wake of the bad boy's motorbike, she comes across a deer. It speaks to her in the writer's voice, praising her and telling her that he knew it would be her, his biggest fan, that would be the one to save him. Pressing on, she arrives at the writer's mansion, which bears an uncanny resemblance to the Valhalla nursing home. And here she once again confronts the bad boy for the last time. And during their battle, we find out that the bad boy is a werewolf, and in the biggest plot twist, so is his motorbike. But of course, the wolf pack are no match for the waitress's superior shotgun skills, and she's triumphant. And with the bad boy laying defeated on the steps of the mansion, the waitress grants him mercy, refusing to kill him, leading him to have a complete change of heart, understanding that he was motivated purely by jealousy for his much better looking brother having the love of a woman like the waitress. She tells him that he's worthy of love too, before setting forth to finally save the writer. She fights her way through the mansion, blasting her way through more waves of haters as she climbs her way to the top floor and through the spiral door into the writer's room, where her and the writer run towards one another, throwing themselves into each other's arms and dancing before embracing lovingly, with the waitress once again monologuing over the scene with some incredibly clumsily worded dialogue. The perfect end for the writer's #1 fan. And after the credits finish rolling, we rejoin Wall and Daw in the studio for the next episode's introduction. He describes a young woman trying to stay one step ahead of a shady government agency while she searches for her missing family member, her only aid coming from an otherworldly companion. The title card drops, North Star. This episode starts with the camera panning through the darkness to reveal the red neon glow of the Coffee World sign, before revealing our protagonist, the sibling, a double of Jesse Faden from Control. She's here at Coffee World looking for her brother who was kidnapped by government agents, leading her to dedicate her entire life to getting him back. And much like in Control, she isn't alone in this task. She has her guiding star with her, this tale's kaleidoscopic stand-in for Polaris. As the sibling begins her journey, she checks the security booth for clues to the code for the park's entrance, and with a little help from her guiding star, she quickly is granted access to the park. As she enters Coffee World, it's clear from the first moment that something isn't right. The atmosphere is unwelcoming, and shadowy figures block her progression deeper into the park's grounds. She finds her way into a wooden pavilion where she's greeted by the sheriff, this story's facsimile of Sheriff Tim Breaker. He explains to the sibling that there is something in the coffee, something that's turning people into coffee monsters. She tells him about her situation, and the sheriff says that the warehouse is the most likely place that her brother is being kept. He arms her with a handgun and a flashlight, and she sets forth through the dark paths of the theme park, fighting coffee monsters as she searches for the warehouse. Upon finding it, she uses the intercom only to be told that she needs a password to enter, the fourth word of the Dark Triangle Coffee Company's mission statement, which she's informed she can find on the company's orientation video. So she returns to the sheriff, but he warns her about the videotape having brainwashing effects. But the sibling is insistent, and the sheriff eventually tells her that the tape is in one of the Ferris wheel's cars. He hands over the keys to the Ferris wheel controls, and the sibling makes her way through more hordes of coffee monsters and to the Ferris wheel. She uses the key to move the cars and is able to retrieve the orientation tape. She then leaves the area looking for somewhere to watch it. Luckily, she's able to find a VCR and television set at the Welcome Center. She inserts the cassette and is greeted with the Dark Triangle Coffee logo. The video goes on to say that the company is fast growing with ambitions to sweep the nation, and that their mission statement is to drink the truth to become one. Having the password, she prepares to return to the intercom, but the video's hypnotic effects start to take hold of her, telling her to drink the coffee. Luckily, her guiding star is able to force these brainwashing signals from her mind, leaving her able to continue her mission. She fights her way through more coffee monsters and back to the warehouse where she gives the password, but she's immediately asked for more security validation, the correct roasting temperature for the coffee. Travelling back to the roasting bar near the entrance, she finds a note and 3 clues in the form of posters. The first states, the temperature is greater than the sum of our triangle. The second states, the first number is half of the second, and the third is 1 less than the one before it. And the third and final poster says Dark Triangle Coffee is coffee at its prime, and that the temperature is below 500. After scratching her head for a short while, the sibling is able to ascertain that the correct temperature to roast the beans is 487 degrees Fahrenheit. So, armed with the correct answer, she once again fights her way back to the intercom, where after giving the roasting temperature, she is given one final task: to drink the coffee. Having no other options, she finds her way to the tasting room, where a coffee pot and a fresh cup of the hypnotic hot beverage are waiting for her. She picks up the cup and without hesitation, she drinks it, once again being bombarded with hypnotic messages forcing their way into her mind, but the attempts to control her are no match for the power of her guiding star, and the sibling is eventually able to keep control of her faculties. As she heads back to the warehouse one last time, she hears a commotion and comes across the sheriff. He's just had to fight off some coffee monsters, and although he was victorious, he accidentally got some of the coffee in his mouth. He claims that he should be fine as it was only a small amount, so the sibling leaves him to regain his composure and continues back to the intercom. Before she's allowed entrance to the warehouse, she's asked to surrender her weapons. And not having a choice, she agrees. As she enters the dark building, the sibling is shocked to see it being patrolled by large coffee thermos mascots. It appears now that stealth is her only option. As she sneaks past the hulking sentinels, the sibling is able to find a key and gain access to the office. And upon entering it, she comes face to face with the sheriff. He has unfortunately become another victim to the coffee's mind-altering properties. He states that coffee time is family time, and it's the best part of the day. She's unable to snap the sheriff out of his hypnotism, so the sibling continues her quest to find her brother, descending a ladder into a room full of strange geometric shapes, before finally finding herself in a large room with a containment unit in the middle surrounded by thermoses. Inside, her brother hangs in the air. Once again, he has the visage of Alan Wake. He directly mirrors the dialogue that Dylan Faden speaks to Jessie in Control, saying that he wants to tell her about a dream he had. The scene fades to black and the credits once again roll on another episode of Night Springs. We once again join Warland Dorr back in the studio. He talks about time, looking back at past decisions and the idea of destiny across many realities. Then we get the title card, Timebreaker. The episode starts with our protagonist, the actor, played by Shawn Ashmore, recording in front of a green screen for an upcoming video game from a company called Poison Pill Entertainment. Once he's finished his scene, he looks to the director for feedback and reassurance on his performance. The camera pans to reveal the director is none other than Sam Lake. He's very happy, but believes they can do more, be crazier, wilder and immersive with it, before walking off humming to himself. The actor follows him to discuss the game and his new character. They're both very excited to be working together again, especially using FMV in the game, like the last game they made together. The actor's character is a multiversal agent that goes by many names. He's searching for his lost love while his ruthless nemesis, Dorr, the master of many worlds, is murdering versions of him across parallel realities. And in the long term, the agent will grow into the ultimate iconic superhero. The actor expresses that he's still struggling to remember all the acronyms associated with his equipment, but Sam Lake says acronyms are cool, like tiny little mysteries, and he proceeds to explain them. You've got the PRS, Polyhedron Reality Shifter, and the SEN, Shifter Energy Node, and these can be used in conjunction with each other to activate a Luma Vista television set, allowing the agent to ride the vortex between realities. And on his adventures, he'll have a gun and a TBS, a Time Breaker Solidifier, and all of this technology comes from REC, the Ripple Effect Corporation. The pair go on to discuss the director's ideas about the multiverse, and he claims his thoughts about the multiverse to be the right idea, the truth. He says, somewhere, this here, Us talking is part of a video game, and another version of you is playing it. Somewhere your character, the agent, is real, and he could appear through a portal at any time now. With the crew needing to set up for the next scene, the director sends the actor to his green room to chill out and learn his lines. He leaves the set through the back corridors and towards the green room, where he sees a flash of light and hears a commotion.
No! This is your end.
He races to investigate and finds a double of himself propped up against the wall, dead. Near the corpse is the PRS, TBS, a revolver, and a script page that strangely describes exactly what's going on. The actor is convinced it's a prank by Sam Lake, and as he lifts his head, he sees a red-headed woman who appears in the doorway. She says, "So we got another one of you." He tells her that it's just a prank, and this is when the red-headed woman realizes that the actor isn't who she thought he was. He's not Branch. The actor asks if she's been cast in the game too. She says, "Listen to me, there are things you need to know. You're in great danger. You must do exactly what I tell you." But before she can finish explaining herself, we get a flash of Mr. Door and the actor is whisked away into some kind of vortex. And after a short, disorientating trip through the maelstrom, the actor emerges in the darkness of a forest at night, and he seems to have a completely different appearance. He begins to explore the woods while he ruminates over the fact that the last thing he remembers was the red-headed woman and how she looked familiar. He questions whether he's having a psychotic episode, if the multiverse is real, if this is an elaborate hoax, or if it's an off-the-wall method-acting reality show. He decides to go with the latter and act like it's real. After all, he is the actor, so he pushes forward. He finds a fenced-off area with a warning sign put there by the Ripple Effect Corporation mentioning a parallel reality bleed zone and a cross-dimensional anomaly. It also shows the actor exactly where he is, Night Springs City Park. He continues along the woodland path and begins to hear somebody else's thoughts in his head. They sound like him, another version of him. They mention hiding something away from the trailer, an energy node. And as he continues, it's not long before he finds the trailer. Hidden in the darkness of the forest, the only light coming from the static flickering on the screen of an old Luma Vista television. He searches the trailer and finds books on UFOs and a strange diagram of a spiral stating "You are here," and most importantly, a whiteboard full of strange notes. They talk about Door being the master of many worlds, string theory, and hearing the thoughts of others when they die, then mentioning that they're not being killed, they're not dead, there's something worse. They're broken. After reading these creepy notes and certain he's found everything in the trailer, the actor leaves. But he begins to hear the voices again, hear the thoughts of his counterpart. He's hidden the energy node deep inside the forest, in a creek, by the waterfall. So having an idea where to go, the actor heads towards the creek. He finds the node, bathing the waterfall in multicolored light. It's a floating polyhedral shape. So he raises the PRS, and the node vibrates erratically before dropping to the ground dark. The PRS is now charged. The actor knows that if everything is true, he needs to get back to the trailer and use the Luma Vista TV to escape this reality. So he heads back towards the trailer, once again hearing his doppelganger's thoughts. This time, they slowly change from voices in the actor's head to being audible. He sees flashes in the distance along with the unmistakable sound of gunshots before hearing the screams of his double. He races towards the commotion, finding the corpse of his double, bloodied and broken. Finally deciding that this isn't a hoax, the actor races to the trailer, but his path is blocked by this episode's enemy type, a time breaker, a shadow-veiled version of the actor's double. He uses his TBS, which breaks the enemy's shield, and then he finishes it off with a revolver, before hurrying back to the trailer and quickly using the PRS to escape this reality, once again riding the vortex. This time, he arrives in a noir version of the Ocean View Hotel, yet again sporting a different appearance. The actor makes his way to the lobby of the hotel and is greeted with a flash of Door's face and is immediately attacked by Timebreakers. But our hero makes short work of them with the TBS and revolver combo, leaving him able to explore and look for clues. It seems this hotel has some kind of unique time anomaly, and if the actor is able to choose the correct paths, he might be able to find his way out of this reality and closer to his goal. He pushes forward using the clocks as clues to the looping hallways and lobbies of this mysterious hotel, trying to find the path that will lead him to the next TV and help him escape. He states that he can't hear this reality's original version of himself, and perhaps he's already been killed by Door. With no time to dwell on these thoughts, he keeps searching the looping corridors of the hotel. He finds the correct lobby with the TV, but he's still going to need the power node for his PRS, so he has no choice but to continue searching. He finds another lobby where the beautiful sound of Artie singing the hero's tango plays as the actor is once again attacked by a gang of Timebreakers. After dispatching the enemies, all he can find in this room is a Thomas Zane film poster for Coulon Rally. So he continues to search the hotel, eventually finding the lobby that has the energy node. He recharges the PRS and makes his way back towards the lobby that has the Luma Vista television. But Door isn't going to make it easy for him, sending more and more waves of Timebreakers to kill the actor. But our hero isn't phased and he cuts through the hordes of enemies. He mentions how the last time he shifted realities, he focused on Door, but this time he was going to try something different. He bursts into the entertainment lobby and uses the PRS on the Luma Vista TV, only this time thinking of the red-headed woman, and once again he rides the vortex through realities. Travelling deeper into the multiverse, the actor finds himself in a reality unlike anything he's seen before. The actor is in a comic book. He says, something was different, a strange feeling, still, yet moving, like frozen snapshots on a sequential path, and yet thoughts flowing free, like text read out aloud. It appears that he's arrived at the Ripple Effect headquarters, where he's greeted by the red-headed woman. She tells him that she thought he was gone for sure. He explains that he focused on her whilst in the vortex to reach her. She says he's full of surprises. The actor tells her that he was making video games about the multiverse, but now they're real. And she explains that real and not real exist side by side in the multiverse. Conceptual, fictional, real, more real than real. Many versions of us all in hidden interaction, linked by the energies that ripple through realities. She goes on to explain that other versions of her died in an energy explosion, gained superpowers, one met an alien guardian angel, and one was even a video game character. The actor asks, why is Door after him and who he is? She explains that the legends of him go further back than they can trace, that he found a parallel reality that gave him access to all realities, and that the feedback loop killed all other versions of himself. She goes on to tell the actor that they aren't sure why Door is after him, but they do know that Door sees versions of him as a threat. She thought he was after Agent Branch, now she thinks he's been after the actor all along. She tells him he's able to traverse the multiverse with greater accuracy than anyone, perhaps even Door. And she believes that finding the place where Door was made could be the key to killing him, but they could never find it. But maybe, just maybe, the actor can. He tells the red-headed woman that he'll come back for her, raises the PRS, and once again rides the vortex between realities. He arrives at what appears to be an arcade game reality, where he's immediately met with a vision of Door. He tells him that his Timebreakers will stop him and he'll join their ranks. So after telling Door to f*** off, he fights off waves and waves of Timebreakers, and once they're all defeated, Door shows himself again, saying it's impressive, and out of all the versions of the actor, he might be the chosen one. He asks him to join him, and of course the actor says no. Door says he'll regret that, but also he was lying. He then disappears, leaving the actor free to charge his PRS with the energy node so he can use the Luma Vista TV to ride the vortex and continue his chase of the Master of Many Worlds. This time the actor arrives at the edge of the multiverse, or some deep trench in it. The landscape is littered with energy nodes, all of which are burned out and dark, everything sucked dry of colour and energy. As he traverses this desolate place, he sees a glow in the distance, the last remaining energy node, and after fighting off some more time breakers, he recharges his PRS, but he still needs to find the TV. So he pushes forward through more waves of time breakers before finally finding the Luma Vista television, where he states he's close. For one final time, he raises the PRS and rides the vortex between realities. This time, he awakens in the furthest reaches of the multiverse, a conceptual reality where all that exists are ideas and words. The actor struggles to even contemplate his own existence, but eventually he's able to focus his mind. He comes to understand that he's in a barren conceptual desert that stretches on to eternity. After a quick cup of coffee, he remembers the task at hand and focuses on the Master of Many Worlds. The desert darkens, and he realises he could be trapped here forever. He meditates in an attempt to understand the secrets of the multiverse, but in this reality, time has no meaning, and it appears that he's been here for an eternity. And just when he's about to starve to death, a blinding light introduces a silhouette of a man. It's himself, the actor, but from the future. He offers the actor a seed. He takes it and plants it in the ground, where it grows at an incredible pace and becomes the tree of life. Memories drift down through it like falling leaves, and the actor follows the memories, leading him to find a comic book in his hand. It describes a legend of a god who hung himself from a branch of the world tree in order to gain secret knowledge. Knowing that he too needs to gain knowledge, he hangs himself from the branches of the world tree. He hangs there for 9 nights before the branch eventually breaks. He now sees that the tree has grown old, but it now bears a single fruit. He reaches out and takes it, but it rots in his hand, leaving behind a familiar looking seed. He now notices that his past dying self is at his feet, so he offers him the seed, and he vanishes. The actor picks up the crooked branch that he was hanging from off the floor, and it sparks a distant memory. He remembers his mission. He must find the Master of Many Worlds. He focuses on a door, willing it into existence. It has no handle, so he uses the crooked branch he hung from. He opens the door and steps through, but he doesn't find Mr. Door. He finds another Master of Many Worlds, sitting behind a desk typing. Of course, the actor has found Alan Wake. And with that, the credits roll on the last episode of Night Springs. Well, that ended up being a lot longer than I expected it to be, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please like and leave a comment, share with your friends, and please subscribe. I'm trying to get myself over the 500 subscriber mark. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.